Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Now, the international business community is gathering in Sandton, Johannesburg, to discuss investment opportunities on the continent. The African Investment Summit is now on. It's in its second day. Analysts say Africa's economy is expected to grow by 6% this year. This makes it a good investment destination. We're now joined by Tariro Kwaramba from the summit. Tariro, welcome to Morning Live. It's quite a diverse mix of speakers that you have at the conference: Ethiopian, Kenyan, Nigerian, South African. Has it been well attended?
Yeah, we've had a decent turnout. I think the speakers have given some very insightful thoughts on investing in Africa, and it's opened up a whole sort of new thinking and a new way of doing business when investors want to come in and maybe seize assets in Africa.
Does that new way of thinking involve a move away from the perception that Africa is not a good place to do business?
I think in a way, yes. I think a lot of the time speakers are chatting about who can partner up and what kind of investment vehicles and the manner of business that people can use to sort of limit that risk and obviously get maximum returns out of their investments.
Does the fact that South Africa, or rather Africa, survived the economic downturn better than the other continents, is that factored in these discussions?
In a way, I think when you go back to the economic downturn, it's a very past us discussion.
Okay.
And the fact that Africa did survive is something obviously that has opened up good opportunities for us. And in a nutshell, I think it's in a vein where there is good liquidity coming up.
You're allowed to be vague.
And I think on the whole, business is sort of in a good shape.
6% growth is a good prospect, though.
I would say so, yes, very much so.
So what sort of investment opportunities are looking to be coming Africa's way?
I won't say it's anything new that we didn't already know. I think the manner of business, the investment vehicles that are on board and so on, are looking more at reducing taxes and increasing returns, and obviously boosting good partnerships between your international investors coming in and the local guys who are on the ground already doing this.
What are the projects that are receiving more emphasis? It's been said that Africa lacks more than anything infrastructure.
I mean, for the summit, we are taking a look at commodities. That's only going to happen tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think in general, with the growth of private equity in Africa and hedge fund investing, it's something that has spelled good fortune and has increased the number of products that are available for investors to seize.
What is the source of that private equity in Africa?
I mean, private equity has always been a big vehicle, and with the increase of liquidity and the interest from international investors.
But there's also always been issue about where it comes from. For instance, blood diamonds and the likes. Is that not an issue anymore?
I think what's driving private equity right now is more the consumer markets and things that are like agriculture that are on the rise. Soft commodities are always something that people know food demand will always be rise, and there'll always be a good price for something like that. And another thing that has always driven private equity forward is investors wanting to own assets rather than come in and lend money and wait for people to make money off their money, then pay them back.
It's an investment summit.
Yes.
Which continents beyond Africa have shown interest?
I mean, we've always had good interest from Asia, and the Middle East and Europe and America are always the front runners in something like this.
Has it made a difference, the recent signing of the BRICS agreement between South Africa and the BRIC countries?
I think it's brought sort of more business to the ground. When people sign agreements of that nature, it's something that brings transparency and strengthens partnerships and trust. And given that sort of go-ahead that people in Africa can partner up with your international investors and make it work.
What sort of discussions are still coming up? You're in day 2 now.
We're in day 2 today, that's right.
And you still have a day to go. What sort of discussions are still going to be held?
Today's main focus will be around private equity, hedge funds, and a lot of the alternatives. And I mean, in South Africa, there's a Regulation 28 that we're sort of going through. This is for pension fund investors that looks to sort of give opportunities and give a new way of thinking of how investors will bring money, and sort of a new perception that there will be a lot of money from African investors themselves looking for opportunities within Africa, especially in infrastructure and your agriculture, and sort of the responsible type of investments.
What's the pension fund market looking like on the continent? Reports have always been that countries such as South Africa, Egypt, are the ones that have the process tightly in place. What is it looking like for the rest of the countries, the other countries?
I think it's very much growing. I think pensions can be described as still being very much risk adverse. But obviously with the new regulation and that trust in assets doing well and trust in vehicles that look at your traditional asset classes that the pensions do like, it will offer a new level of liquidity to the market, which is always something that investors look for.
Tariro Kwaramba is the General Manager of the Africa Investment Summit that's currently underway in Sandton. Is it at the conference center? At
the convention center, that's right,
yeah. It ends tomorrow, doesn't it?
It ends tomorrow, that's right.
Thank you so much for making the time. Rob Byrne gives us the latest on the traffic side.
It is